Good afternoon, everybody. It is 12 o'clock on the dot, and I am Lori Gert, the new Rachel Kimmel. Welcome to the Tobacco Treatment Specialist Community of Practice call for today, Wednesday, November 20th. And I am actually going to have Kayla take the reins since I know I'm new and not everybody knows me. So Kayla, if you could go ahead and start with introductions, that would be fantastic.
Hi everyone, it's Kayla Sue with Rethink Tobacco Indiana. I hope everyone's having a really wonderful fall and then really looking forward to the Thanksgiving holiday next week. So as Lori had mentioned, I wanted to let everyone know that Rachel Kimmel, who previously helped to facilitate these calls, she's no longer with the Indiana Hospital Association. She actually moved to Florida, so she is enjoying a little bit better weather than we have right now. But Lori Gert, as she just mentioned, has taken over that role and comes with a wealth of experience being a licensed mental health counselor and definitely experience, especially in the behavioral health realm too. So if you have any questions about that, I'm sure Lori would be happy to assist in really taking over that systems change work. So today on the call, we'll just start with some introductions, but we thought it'd be super timely to talk about the Great American Smokeout. And then for today, we actually have two case study submissions. The first one was intended to speak a little to preloading with the nicotine patch. There was a question about that, and hopefully some discussion there. And then for our second case study, there's some really great opportunities to talk about some barriers that this patient is having. And so if you're not speaking right now, I just want to encourage everyone to just double check that they're on mute. Nothing ruins a webinar more by having some weird sound in the background. But yeah, so if we just want to go around the virtual room to sort of start with your name, the organization that you're from, what you do, and just maybe the type of facility that it's at. So again, I'm Kayla Sue with Rethink Tobacco Indiana. And I'll hand it off to Lori so she can introduce herself as well.
So it's Lori Gert, everybody, and I have previously worked at Community Health Network. It would have been 24 years in January, but I'm taking a fresh start here with Indiana Hospital Association. I am a licensed mental health counselor by training, but have managed a large prevention grant for the last 5 years. So have worked with a lot of healthcare systems about practice and policy change and how we can do that efficiently and effectively. And I'm very excited to join this team. So thank you for having me.
All right.
I guess from the top, I'm Ann O'Connor Clark. I'm IU Health COPD Care Manager for Population Health.
And I'm sorry, what facility are you with or organization?
IU Health, Population Health.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Susan. I'm with Southwestern. I'm an LSW and also the Tobacco Treatment Program Leader.
Hi, everybody. Sorry about the voice. This is Debbie Hudson-Buckles, and I'm also with Rethink Tobacco with Kayla.
And this is, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. This is Tammy Taylor out of Fort Wayne, and I am with Tobacco Free Allen County, and our fiscal agent is Parkview Health, and I am currently their tobacco cessation coordinator and recently trained a tobacco treatment specialist. It's fairly new.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Maria Hines. I'm out of Fort Wayne. I'm with IU Fort Wayne School of Nursing, and I work with Tobacco Free Allen County, and I recently took the Tobacco Treatment Specialist course.
Hi, Maria.
Hi, Kayla.
Hello, this is Taylor Kenyon from the Indiana Rural Health Association. I'm the Tobacco Prevention and Cessation Quality Advisor. I'm a statewide partner with ISDH, and I was part of the May cohort, so happy to be here.
Hello, this is Regina Smith. I am the Director of Health Systems and Tobacco Cessation here at ISDH on the TPC Tobacco Control Team.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, good. This is Angel Overton. I'm a respiratory therapist, and I'm also the chronic care manager and the tobacco treatment specialist at Green County General Hospital in the clinics.
Anyone else not introduce themselves?
I'm Lori Varnador from IU Health Hawaii and respiratory therapist. We also just opened a pulmonary rehab and working on a wonderful smoking cessation. We just took the tobacco specialist class, and I have someone else that needs to introduce herself with me.
I'm Diana Lockhart, and I am with IU White Memorial also.
Welcome, ladies.
I am Jalinda Percival from Marion General Hospital. I'm a tobacco treatment specialist here and have been for about a year.
Jalinda, I get to meet you on Monday.
Oh, yay!
Did we miss anybody else on the line? Excellent. Well, let's move forward a little bit and talk about the Great American Smokeout, which is actually November 21st, which is tomorrow. Just by way of, voices on the phone, how many are familiar with Great American Smokeout? And you can just say yes or no.
Yes.
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 All right, so it sounds like many of us are. So some of this might be a little bit of review, but it is the third Thursday of November, and it's been coordinated and hosted by the American Cancer Society. And by the way, this is Lori Gert talking. But it really encourages people to use this date to make a quit plan or to plan in advance to start a plan. It's really trying to promote this tobacco cessation kind of on a grand scale. And so a little bit of history in case we didn't know it. This started November 18th in 1976, the California division of the American Cancer Society. And this is amazing to me that they got 1 million people to quit for that day, which I think is astounding. And so the next year, the American Cancer Society said, this is a good thing. Let's take it nationwide. Let's do this on an even bigger scale. So there are quite a few resources that come with the American Cancer Society Great American Smokeout kits. And so, for example, these are some of the flyers and table tents that you can get off of their website. Just talking about you don't have to stop smoking in one day, start with day one. So there's a lot of resources that we could use at no charge, essentially. One of the things, I kind of took a look, each one of these are hyperlinks to their flyers and quick cards and posters. So there are videos on this, which I found really, really interesting because they're 30 seconds, which is about our attention span anymore, but they've got a level of humor to them as well. So it's not any kind of scare tactic, which is what I really like. It's really promoting cessation and prevention in a positive way. The quick cards, I'm assuming everyone is familiar with those as well. It's essentially a signature card. And what it says on it is quitting smoking isn't easy. It takes time and a plan. start your journey toward a smoke-free life on 11/21 during the Great American Smokeout. And then it tells you to visit cancer.org/smokeout or call to learn more. One of the things that I liked about these is that I can see them being anywhere and any time of year. Yes, it's the Great American Smokeout on that day, but how can we build momentum on the Great American Smokeout throughout the year, during the holidays, and reminding our patients that come within our facilities that every journey starts with day one. So there's just some resources I thought were really excellent. Has anyone seen any of the videos, gone on the website and used them?
I have not seen any videos.
No.
Let me see if I can pull these up while I'm in presentation mode. So bear with me just a second.
I have them up too.
Oh, you do?
If you'd like for me to share my screen on that.
Okay. Are you guys seeing my screen at all? Okay. I'll stop share, and then you can take it from there, Kayla.
So are you referring to these?
Correct. Can everyone see your screen?
Yes.
I don't know if anybody can hear.
Yes, I can see.
Quitting smoking does too. But with a little help, you can do it. Get the resources and support you need to quit smoking from the American Cancer Society at cancer.org/smokeout.
So that was the video.
You want to show one more real quick?
Yep.
Going pro takes time. Quitting smoking does too. But with a little help, you can do it. Get the resources and support you need.
Do you guys get the gist of what those videos are trying to do?
Yes.
Those are cute.
They're cute, they're humorous, they're quick. Do any of you have like, hospital-wide like TV where you just kind of scroll through preloaded content? In waiting rooms or cafeterias, lobbies?
These would be great in waiting rooms.
Yep, exactly. So I just want us to think of different ways we can use these resources at any point in the time, not just necessarily for the Great American Smokeout. Do you guys run health fairs at all?
Yes, we do several here in tobacco-free Allen County.
Yeah, because that might be something where you can download and print off multiple of the quick cards, the signature cards, and have people take those or look at those and hand them out.
And Lori, you just mentioned the like doing events and things, and so something the videos just made me think of is having them available on tablets and just kind of replaying them for folks that come by and visit your booth.
Yes, exactly. Any other thoughts on how we can use the resources? Okay. So we all know what the Great American Smokeout is. We all know it's tomorrow. We all know where to find table tents, flyers, quick cards, videos, posters, and we can all think about how we can use those throughout the year. So me not being a tobacco treatment specialist yet, I do have a question. Is any of this something you could use in your work too? The direct line work?
I'm sorry, Lori, what are you talking about, the Great American Smokeout resources?
Correct.
Well, I guess I have a sample even today. I can't be at two places tomorrow, so I am doing the VA today. And we are using those resources this afternoon to help their employees to get ready for tomorrow. So I'm using the stickers, the sign-up cards, and some coping skills, how to use medicines, all that good stuff before tomorrow.
I like that idea as well. Do your hospitals, are you able to put this kind of content up on your websites?
Oh, good question.
If someone's speaking, I can't hear you very well.
Good point, Laura. I could ask Parkview and Lutheran and IU Health here in Fort Wayne to do that. That's good.
Yeah. It might be, I mean, I don't know how fast all of us can get, you know, information or content on the website, but that could be something that could be blasted all today and tomorrow as well.
Yeah, we're working with Lutheran tomorrow most of the day. And in fact, our mayor here is doing a proclamation. So I know Lutheran is going to do that for a fact, but our other hospitals, that's a good point. I should probably reach out to them.
Ooh, I like the idea of a mayoral proclamation.
Yeah, yep, we have a big deal going tomorrow.
Would you be able to send either myself or Kayla that proclamation to share with the rest of the group so they don't have to reinvent the wheel?
Absolutely, I will.
Awesome, thank you. Not that we can necessarily do it, you know, hey Mayor, can you do this tomorrow, but plan ahead for next year.
Absolutely, I'll send it.
Thank
Lori,
you.
could you paste the resources in the chat, the videos for the Great American Smokeout?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yep. And Kayla, you're still presenter. Would you put it back on the PowerPoint?
I've stopped sharing my screen if you want to reshare.
Oh, sorry. Okay, let's do that.
Can you send me that information as well, please?
Yes, I'll put it in the chat, and I will include all this information. Again, it's pretty much all on the American Cancer Society's website. So,
and hopefully everybody received the calendar notification that these materials are attached to that, and received my multiple reminder emails that did have this PowerPoint in there too.
All right. I'll get that in there while you all are going through the case study. Kayla, do you want to handle that part?
Yeah, so we actually have a treat for you all today. We have two case studies, actually. And the first one came about because there was a question about preloading with the nicotine patch. And so we have Debbie Buckles on the line who's going to talk about a case study related to that. And then our second case study we have is Tammy Taylor. She has a really great case study and definitely some opportunities to explore some of her patients' barriers and challenges that she's having. So for the first case study, Debbie, if you want to go. And Lori, do you have that pulled up by chance, or do you want me to share that?
I would love you to share that, please.
Okay, great.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, this is Debbie Buckles. I know you can't tell by my voice. I apologize, but if you can you hear me okay?
Yes, you just sound, nice and husky.
Sorry. Okay.
Hey, Lori, if you want to stop sharing your screen, then I can share mine.
Yep.
Okay, so I have a patient who is a 57-year-old female And she is somebody that is currently has COPD and lung cancer, and she is a patient here at our cancer center. She came to us and back in September was her first visit, and we had her initially scheduled for early September, and she called and canceled that, and did decide that she did want to reschedule, but she rescheduled for about 3 weeks later. Unfortunately, she doesn't drive and she doesn't read, so she relies on her husband to bring her. So we scheduled for towards the end of September. So the first time I saw her, I was able to determine that she is currently smoking a pack a day, and she has been smoking for 42 years. So she started smoking pretty young. And she does relight cigarettes, which is something that's a little bit concerning, but it's a way for her to save money because she does not work. And her husband is the only income they have. She also smokes within 30 minutes of waking, and she does smoke during the night. So when she wakes up during the night, she will smoke a cigarette. She has trouble determining if she's waking up to smoke or she just wakes up and then she smokes. So, and if she is in a social or work setting, it is often hard for her to get through that without smoking, so sometimes she will go out and smoke. So her Fagerstrom score is pretty high. But when we asked her about her confidence and readiness to quit, it was quite interesting, and her importance for quitting. She gave us a 10 for importance of quitting, and her confidence was only a 5. But then when I asked her about how ready to quit she was, she gave me a 10. So she seemed to be very motivated. However, the interesting thing was that when I asked her if she's ready to set a quit date, she said, "No, I don't think I'm ready for that." So I thought that was kind of interesting that she gave me a 10, but then wouldn't quite commit to a quit date. We do carbon monoxide monitoring, and her first carbon monoxide was 30 parts per million. Her husband does smoke, so that makes it difficult for her to try to quit, although he has, at a later visit, decided he would try to quit as well. And so he did start taking Chantix. She's not really had any serious quit attempts. She did quit previously when she was in the hospital for her surgery for her lung cancer. And so she really only quit for about a week at that time, but she didn't have any plans of staying quit. So she, at that time when she was in the hospital, she did take Chantix, and she took it for about 2 weeks, but she stopped taking it because of the vivid dream. Excuse me. So I saw, I did some talking with her about the different medications, and she was open to trying Chantix again. In fact, she really did want to try it, but because she doesn't have any insurance, and she found out it was her through her pharmacy that the Chantix was going to cost her about $500, she decided that wasn't a good option for her. And she had had some patches at home, so she started experimenting with those a little bit. And I said, just give it a try and see what happens on the days that you use the patches. Well, unfortunately, and her second visit, which was October 17th, she really wasn't using the patches right. She was trying to stretch them out, and so she'd use one patch over 2 days. And I said, these really aren't meant to last more than 24 hours. And so we talked more about how to use the patches appropriately. We talked about lozenges, and we had sample lozenges. So I did give her some more sample patches and some sample lozenges that she was going to try. And she admitted that she was smoking 5 cigarettes an hour. And her goal was then at that time that she really wanted to try to cut down to 3 an hour. And so we talked about different cognitive and behavioral strategies that might help her specifically with her individual triggers. So some of the things were like when she's watching TV, and then when her husband's home, they have a smoking room. And so when he's home, they smoke in the smoking room, but when he's not home, she kind of sneaks and smokes where she really shouldn't be smoking because she likes to watch TV. And so that was one of her big triggers. So we kind of talked about some different things that she could do while she's watching TV. For instance, if there's a commercial on, instead of just sitting there and watching the commercial, she could get up and go throw in a load of laundry, or do a little bit of the dishes or something like that. And then we talked about the fact that that was at the appointment that her husband stated he had started on Chantix and had been on it for 4 days. So we talked about some things that they could maybe do together that would occupy their time, that wouldn't be sitting and watching TV, and would kind of keep their hands busy and keep them busy as well. And they came up with a list of 3 different things that they could try. And one of them was playing cards together. And so that was going to be the big thing they wanted to work on. She also had a friend that had a picture of her when she was intubated and on a ventilator after her surgery. So she wanted to get that picture as a reminder. And then she was going to start using 1 patch every day, and then she was going to use 1 lozenge every other hour, unless she had a strong urge or craving to smoke. And then if she had a strong urge or craving, she was going to use a lozenge. So I have not seen her again since that time. She's actually coming in this afternoon to see me. So I'll have a better idea this afternoon of how she's done with that. But she wasn't really ready to set a quit date. So we thought we'd try this strategy just to get her more confident in her abilities and in the medication. So that's kind of where we left things with her. Anyone have any questions?
You said, hi, this is Susan with Southwestern. You said that, it sounded like you said that she doesn't have insurance and so she couldn't get the Chantix because of that. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Has she applied for the Pfizer prescription assistance program?
Yes, I did give her that number, but unfortunately, because her husband has income, they weren't able to help her. She has no income at all, but her husband is employed and does have insurance, so they were not able to help her.
Is she not covered on her insurance, or just Chantix isn't covered under their insurance?
She's not covered under his insurance. It was going to cost them like $780 a month for her to be included on his insurance. So they chose not to include her. So she's not had insurance.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's been a struggle for them as well. She's trying to get on disability now, but that takes quite a bit of time. It's been several months now they've been working on this. So we're hoping maybe she can get on disability because she can't work at this point. Yeah. And she doesn't read, so that complicates matters as well. Any other questions?
Debbie, this is Lori, just thinking about the Great American Smokeout. Do you think she'd get any sense of community if she knew that tomorrow was the Great American Smokeout and lots of people may be in the same place as she?
I don't know. I do plan to talk to her about it today and see, if she would do like a practice day. Some patients have a really difficult time just picking a day and saying that's the day and I'm never going to smoke again. But sometimes patients do better if you can say, let's just do it as a practice day. And a lot of times I think that's what I think Great American Smokeout really is more of, is like a practice day to kind of get people thinking about quitting and then trying it.
I like that idea as well.
I use lots of practice days with all my clients are behavioral health clients, and so anxiety is rampant. And especially if I say, let's set this hard date, I get very few people to commit to a quit day, but I can get lots of people to agree to, let's do a practice day. And if you get halfway through, then we're going to, we'll talk about what worked in the morning, and then you just, go ahead and smoke, so that there's not that sense of failure or that, growing anxiety as the day approaches.
Absolutely. I think that's a great idea, Susan. And I see this a lot in cancer patients too, because they're dealing with a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety, and smoking has always been their coping mechanism. So for them to even consider quitting can often be very traumatizing.
Can I ask a question? This is Maria.
Sure.
At IU School of Nursing. So when you do practice quit dates, because I'm new at this, let's say you don't see the person the next day. What if you were going to see them in like a week? Would you do a whole practice week, or would you just do a day and then see them next week and say, how'd you do on that day?
Yep.
I try to do a practice. Yeah, and if I do practice day with a patient, I try to at least have a phone call with them the next day, because I want to know how it went when everything's fresh in their minds. If I can't talk to them the next day, I ask them to keep a journal of that day and to write down their thoughts and their feelings throughout the day, just so that things are, kept, again, fresh in their minds. But if I can't see them for a week or something, I'm not going to ask them to do a practice a week, because that can be too long for patients. But if I, like I said, if I can't see them within a day or two after the practice day, then I will try to do at least a brief, like 10, 15-minute call with them.
And your client is smoking so much that you could, she could even break it down to, let's do a practice couple of hours and see what happens. 5 cigarettes an hour is so much.
Yeah, and that's why she is working on getting down to 3 an hour. She, like you said, she wasn't ready to set a quit date, but she would try to reduce her consumption. So at least she would agree to that. And that was kind of her own idea when I said, okay, are you willing to think about a quit date? She said, no, but I would like to cut down on my smoking. And I will say that on the first time I saw her, her carbon monoxide was 30 parts per million in September. And then I saw her again October 17th, so almost a month later, and her carbon monoxide was down to 10 parts per million.
Wow, so, that's awesome.
Even though she hadn't started cutting down on October 17th, I do think she had changed something. And she couldn't really identify why her carbon monoxide level would be down, but it was. And so I'm anxious to see her this afternoon and see where she is. Any other questions or comments?
I think the Great American Smokeout being tomorrow feels just really timely to, increase her motivation and confidence in this.
Yeah, and of course, November's Lung Cancer Awareness Month, and of course, she does have lung cancer. So I think that's, going to be a big topic of our discussion today. Okay, well, with that, I will turn it over to
Debbie. Even though she doesn't have a quit date in mind, has she ever tried just doing a cold call to the quit line or utilizing any of the web-based services as a form of support?
She hasn't tried any of the web-based stuff because she doesn't do computers, because she doesn't read. And she's not tried the quit line yet, but we have talked about that as a means of support in between our sessions. But as of yet, she hadn't called them.
Okay.
It would also get her more patches and, gum and lozenges if she just goes ahead and registers with them, too.
True. And I don't know, I don't think she would qualify for the behavioral health modification or enhancement, so she would probably only be able to get either patches or gum, or lozenge. Oh, actually, yeah. So I'll talk to her about that today. Thanks, everybody, for your comments. I'll turn it back over to, I guess I'll turn it. Should I turn it over to Tammy then?
Thanks, Debbie. Yeah, so Tammy, if you'd like to begin your case, let me pull that information up here.
Okay.
Here we are. Hopefully everybody can see that.
Debbie was very in-depth on her case, so I'll maybe add a little bit more to what you have here in front of us. Yeah. So she is my very first client. She has had freedom from smoking, I think the last 5 years, but she went right back to smoking a pack a day. She's 52. She's been smoking since she was 10. and she had surgery early November for her knee. So prior to her surgery, the docs put her on Chantix. She's done well until she came home, and they actually took her off Chantix. So we suggested, and I say we because Nancy was her previous support person, Nancy Cright, my boss, to go back to the surgeon or doc and say, why did you take me off? Well, I'm not sure what happened there, but they put her back on, and she also takes a lozenge for her cravings, but she hates it. She puts it in her mouth just during her cravings, and she spits it right back out. So I gave her some suggestions on how to use it, and she won't take the gum. She's tried the gum, hates the gum as well. She slips, ever since she's been home, she slips 1 to 2 cigarettes a week. And that is because she has a couple of kids who are not in the house currently, but when they come over and they make them go outside to smoke, but they'll say, hey, Mom, come out and smoke with me. And so that's, so she always does. She usually does, her husband says. Her husband does not smoke. He's a great support system for her. So that is a trigger for her, big time. Let's see what else. She has 2 jobs. She goes back in December. This first week of December, she goes back, and what we're going to do is really sit down every week on her triggers then, just to give her some extra support. So she's really kind of already stopped. But she's just trying to figure out, where her triggers are during the slips. I've given her some coping skills, a lot from the Southwestern ideas from our treatment specialist training that week. She loved that, so I gave her a little backpack of information and tools and stuff for her coping skills. She watches a lot of TV during the day. So I think that the slips are, she's bored during the week. She just watches TV. So we're trying to figure out what are the best skills to help her through that week, but also how to help her not go outside with her kids. And what's another idea for the lozenge? So Caleb already kind of talked about that earlier. So if anybody has some suggestions on that.
Yeah, and I had called Tammy earlier this morning and had mentioned this, but wanted to mention it to the larger group as well, that they came out with a new mint-coated lozenge. And they claim to be the only FDA-approved coated lozenge, and really reducing that chalkiness, that taste that people hate about the lozenge. So hopefully if, she's able to give this a try. They do have a coupon on their website for that too. And I did see where you can get it on Amazon as well, but I've never tried it myself, so I don't know if it's truly minty and not chalky, but that's available.
Hi guys, it's Debbie. I have tried that new lozenge, and it is very minty. It's like an Altoid, but it might, I don't know if that's the one she's using, but there are different flavors of the lozenge out there too. So if she doesn't like the one she's using, there are some other options, but it is hard not to use it after you've spent the money to
Right. And she carries it with her, and she'll take it when she has those cravings, but she doesn't have it in there long enough, I think, to really take an effect.
Yeah, she probably spits it out.
Yeah, pretty fast. And I wanted to add, too, she's taking Chantix and the patch at the same time. However, the patch will not stay on her. Like, they have to tape it down. Is there any suggestions on that, too?
One thing we've done with patients that have trouble getting the patch to stick is make sure when she showers, she doesn't put lotion on before she puts the patch on, number one. Number two, she could use something like an ACE bandage so that she's not sleeping it, and that'll help the surface area be more consistent too. So just take like, you know, a bandage, a wrap, and wrap it around the area like the arm or something where she's using boo-boo. If she's wearing it around her stomach, just have her wrap it around the trunk of her body.
Okay, good.
Some comment too on the issue about her kids, encouraging them to come out and smoke. I don't know if she's had a conversation with her kids about why she's quitting smoking. But that can be very helpful because if they understand her motivation to quit, they might be more willing to be helpful.
You would think both her and her dad, or the dad, has talked to the kids about it. She has 3 boys, all 3 smoke. In fact, one does Juul and smoke cigarettes, both. And he's had some issues with the Juul, but he's still juuling. And they've talked to them about it, but it's like they want their mom to come out and associate with, you know, socialize with them, and so they all smoke. And so the dad is very concerned about that, and I've given them some tips on how to talk to them, but I think it's a challenge for them big time.
Okay. One of the things she could maybe do is tell the kids that they are welcome to come over. She loves for them to visit. She wants to spend time with them. But maybe they just say, there's no more smoking at our house, inside or out. And that's because I'm trying to quit and I need the support. And these are my reasons. The other thing is she could say to them, look, I understand that you're still going to smoke. I'm not asking you to quit, but I need to quit. You know my reasons for quitting. And she can reiterate those reasons for quitting. She can tell them on a scale of 0 to 10, this is how important it is for me to quit smoking. Maybe once they realize how important it is, that'll make a difference. But then the other thing she can do is ask them, what are you willing to do to help me?
Oh, that's good.
Because it's not telling them what they can do or what they can't do, but it's actually asking for their help.
Right. I like that. Oh, I love that. Okay. Yeah, that's perfect. And her confidence level was a 7, and it's a 7 because of her kids. It's a 10 for important. It's unfortunate that her kids are reducing that confidence level.
Yeah, I think that's pretty high considering her kids. So I think that's really, really good.
Well, I think because she is a pack-a-day smoker and she's flipping 1 to 2, and let's see, it's end of November. You know, I'm trying to encourage her and applauding her at the same time, saying, you know, the first week it was 2 cigarettes, and now she's, you know, flipping to 1 cigarette. So I'm applauding her and celebrating her for doing that. So I see her on Friday and see if she's flipped this last week any, and then celebrate her some more.
Yeah, I think that's the right idea too, because she's gone from 20 cigarettes a day to 1 to 2 a week.
Exactly.
And the other thing with that too, Tammy, is that I really think that she's made some great strides, and we've had lots of patients who have gotten down to 2 or 3 or even 1 cigarette a day, and they're content to stay there. But then all of a sudden they get to a point and they're like, why am I doing this? Why am I smoking 1 cigarette a day? Or why am I smoking 3 cigarettes a day? And they end up quitting.
Yeah. I think our biggest concern, that's why I will be probably talking to her a couple times a week, is when she starts work. Because her trigger is in the car, and then all her friends are non-smokers, so that's going to help. And I've already encouraged her to tell her friends she's quitting. And then her job is another trigger. It's a little bit more stressful. So I will be giving her a little bit more support those first few weeks as she goes back to work. So that's the real test for her. Right now, it's just, I think, is her kids and getting her, you know, on the right track on which medications. I also had a thought too, is using really a placebo type is like just regular like candies or something. But what is your thought on that? Because I've heard others, suggest that.
Yeah, that's absolutely an idea. And people really don't like cinnamon with cigarettes. They say it tastes really bad.
Oh.
So I don't know if she needs to get some of those little tiny red hot candies and then just put one little red hot in her mouth when she thinks she wants to smoke.
Okay.
Or some cinnamon gum is another option.
Okay, perfect. All right.
One of the things too is I want to make sure you've probably done this already, but just to make sure giving her specific coping mechanisms for dealing with stress. And so there's some specific things you can do that she can do when she is feeling stress or when she knows she's going to be dealing with a stressful situation. And one of them is to kind of practice being in that situation and what you're going to do. So if you're at work and you know your boss is during meetings really gets on your nerves or whatever, you just kind of think through that. You rehearse it in your mind and you rehearse how you respond to it.
Okay.
That's one option. And then, of course, with stress, deep breathing is always key. And then progressive relaxation, which might be hard to do at work.
She's a bus driver, so she can't smoke during the bus, but she definitely does it prior and after.
Awesome. Does anybody else have any other suggestions for Tammy for her patient for when she's driving or dealing with her children, saying no to them? I always think with driving, just having kind of like visual cues of your goals or why, her reason for quitting, having that kind of posted by the speedometer. And I know with bus driving too, there's a lot more room for some of those to be placed there.
Not sure if this is corny, or if you mentioned this before and I didn't hear it, but just listening to her favorite music. Just normalizing her patterns more instead of it always been centered around smoking, whether it's information just in her face all of the time, just learning how, retraining her brain to enjoy normal life experiences by listening to a podcast or music and so forth.
Good idea. I think podcasts may help her since she likes to watch TV a lot. That could help during the car rides, yes. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Awesome. So any other questions or comments for Tammy? Or Tammy, do you have any other questions for anybody else?
I don't, but I will let you know maybe the next call how her work day, her first work week ends up.
Yeah, it'd be nice to hear an update. Okay. All right. Thank you, Tammy. And something else that I wanted to mention to everyone. So there was a question about preloading using the nicotine patch, and I believe it was Debbie's case study who she had mentioned. Debbie, it was a little difficult for me to hear, so I wasn't sure if you mentioned she was doing the preloading, but then you had an appointment with her this afternoon. But I wanted to point out to everyone, I did also attach this research article on progressive, on preloading, so using progressively using the nicotine patch before someone's quit attempt. So just wanted to highlight this research article out there. And it was actually Susan who brought this up and said, Susan, you said a patient brought up this research article to you?
Yeah, for this person in particular, he intellectualizes as a coping skill for anxiety and all those things. And so he's trying to quit smoking and has been diving into the literature to help him just cope with withdrawals. And, you know, he's going through a whole grieving he is going through the whole grieving process, and that's how he has
losing their best friend.
Right. And it's he's ceremonial, all of the things. And so he shared this with me and was asking about it, but he himself was not freeloading.
Wow, I bet it's a good thing and a bad thing, the whole coping skill of diving into the literature, depending upon what side he's looking for.
Right, yeah, sure.
Does anybody have experience with preloading with a nicotine patch or other questions about this? So again, it's using the nicotine patch before actually quitting. It was previously thought that, oh, if you're using the nicotine patch, you can't smoke at all. So there was, a little bit of worry with using that medication then. But we now know that it is safe to be smoking while using the nicotine patch. And then I would encourage you to take a look at this research article. Again, that was sent out in the email just to learn more about that and about the safety and efficacy of doing preloading. But I think it could really help, especially if someone's doing a practice quit day. They're practicing using the nicotine patch, and then if they have a slip, then they have that slip, and they can hopefully work with you on saying why that was caused. But just knowing that there's going to be no harm done if they are using the nicotine patch and they do end up smoking.
Hey, Kayla, this is Tammy. I have a question. Is that a good indicator that they may need more than one patch or something else if they're still smoking on the patch?
It could be. It could be that they're not getting enough nicotine to replace the nicotine that they were previously getting, because as we know, none of the pharmacotherapies deliver nicotine as quickly as cigarettes do. But it could also be that she didn't have the coping skills as well, or this person didn't if they ended up slipping with using the patch. And of course, using the patch as monotherapy by itself too is not as likely to have those greatest chances of success as using combination therapy, so using that with the lozenge or something else. So it could be a number of things, but it could also be that maybe they're underdosed on the NRT.
It's good to identify, if they've cut down at all. If they haven't cut down at all on their smoking, but they're, excuse me, but they're and you want to make sure that they are using whatever NRT appropriately, that if it's a patch that they're putting it on, they're leaving it on for 24 hours, they're replacing it with a new one the next day, all that kind of stuff. So it's a good indicator of if they're using the product and using it correctly, is the dosage a good dose, or does it need to be modified? A lot of times there are patients that we use 2 21 milligram patches on if they're a 2-pack-a-day smoker. So if you have a 1-pack-a-day smoker and you've put them on a 21 milligram patch, your thought process might be, oh, well, maybe we need to increase the dosage. So again, it's about how much they're smoking with the preload too.
This is Jolinda. I have something to add with that too. I think a lot of it too is no matter how much you put on them, if they're not ready to quit, it's not going to work no matter what.
Good point.
Absolutely.
Well, awesome. So we have almost 5 minutes till the end of our call. Are there any last-minute thoughts or questions?
Kayla, this is Lori. I just wanted to see if, Regina, if you're still on the line. I know that the statewide Tobacco Prevention and Cessation Commission is promoting the Great American Smokeout. Do you want to talk to that at all?
Sure. Based on what I understand and know, the local coalitions, along with the regional directors, are promoting the event. They have the smoking deception, or sweet deceptions, I believe, tour. And so they will insert the smoke out in that tour. They just finished some catch trainings that are follow-up. So any public-facing effort that we have as an office, we're just promoting it that way.
Okay, thank you very much. I just want to make the point that while each one of our own organizations or entities may be promoting it, there's also this statewide effort.
Absolutely. You know, there are coalitions out throughout the state, and they're working with their local teams to promote the smoke out and any other effort that we have with vaping and so forth. So absolutely, it's on everyone's radar. So thank you for asking.
Actually, you bring up a good point about whether vaping products are included in the Great American Smokeout, that concept.
I think just based on what I've seen and observed in the last 3 months, we are incorporating and infusing e-cigarettes and vaping in all of the conversations that we're having because of the crisis currently.
Good,
so
okay.
absolutely, it's a part of the conversation, and that's a good thing.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And I also want to remind everyone, too, that our state health department has come out with a dedicated website called Vape Free Indiana. I just typed that into the chat. So it's vapefreeindiana.isdh.in.gov, very long URL. But there's a ton of resources on there geared towards youth, parents, educators, and as well as health professionals to better handle the vaping epidemic. So there's a ton of resources on there, including some toolkits and curriculums to address e-cigarettes.
Thank you, Kayla, for saying that. Also, we have multiple media releases that have come out in the last couple of weeks. Specifically today, there was one. So I want to make sure that you guys have access to those media releases and can send them to Kayla or Debbie, and she can circulate them for you.
Yep, awesome. Thanks so much. So with that, I will end our call today a few minutes early. Hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday and holidays at the end of the year too. Our next TTS Community of Practice call is in the new year, in 2020. So it's going to be on Wednesday, January 15th at noon. So we will all reconvene here in 2020, but I'm sure we'll talk with some of you soon before then. So thanks everyone for joining the call.
Thank
you very much. This is Lori, and I look forward to meeting all of you.
Yep, same here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Laura. Thanks, Kayla.